There's no preseason, but we're less than a week away from the first game of the season. We'll look at the finalized roster for Week 1, give our keys to victory over the Vikings, and maybe share our new friendly wager for the 2021 season. It's all next on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Wayne Henderson here, super amped that we're going to have a football season.
Yes, we are. Scott Clark from the Gaming Outsider Podcast here on this 205th edition of your Packers Fan Podcast. And football is so close, I can almost taste it. On this episode, we'll preview this Sunday's Week 1 matchup, Packers at Vikings game, and as always, share our wild guesses at the final score. We've also got some listener feedback, and you'll want to stay tuned for all of the great thoughts that were shared.
And the 53-man roster is set. Were there any surprises of people that were cut or added? We've also got the weekly Facebook and Twitter poll results to share with you, and episode show notes and timestamps are at PackersFanPodcast.com, as well as being in the details area of your podcast player. Now, whether or not you are, quote-unquote, ready for some football, it looks like it's going to happen, Mr. Clark.
It sure does. I'm genuinely surprised.
And I'm very happy. The closer we get, the more confident I am that we're going to get the whole thing, the whole season. Now, obviously, like we mentioned last time, no fans are going to be at Lambeau Field till the third home game, which isn't till November 1st. So a million things could change between now and then. And some teams are not having any fans at all this year. They've made it cut and dried, whereas other teams are going to try to have a percentage of fans in the stands. Even this weekend, I believe the Chiefs and the Cowboys are both planning on having some fans, I believe.
Yeah, that's gonna be a disaster, but that's a whole other topic we could get to.
I'm just hoping that we get a full season, no matter what it looks like, playoffs and a Super Bowl.
Playoffs. So let's jump right into it and talk about that 53-man roster you saw there and the potential surprises. Let's see. Coach LaFleur said that he was going to tell each of the players in person if they had to be cut instead of via phone call or text message like some coaches might do. I thought that was kind of a classy touch. I mean, it's not good news, but it's got to happen. I know I'd rather hear it in person than over the phone.
Oh, absolutely. And then you get a little bit of face-to-face and back and forth, kind of like a job exit interview. But hopefully anybody that was cut will do well somewhere else.
I always wonder how that goes down, though, because like in the movies, it's always like, hey, come see me in my office. It's not like that now. It's like, meet me at the field, or you want to get together for a cup of coffee, and then there's that long drive that they've got there, knowing what's inevitably going to happen. That's got to be awkward.
Definitely.
Anyway, so the news, we got some surprises being released. Jake Kummerow is released. Darius Shepard is being released. Devin Funchess is still opting out of playing, so the question is, who's Rodgers going to throw to? Well, Adams is still in the lineup, as is Valdez-Scantling, Lazard, Taylor, Turner, Tanyan Jr., Brown, and amongst others. So he's got lots of targets. I know we complained about not picking up any wide receivers in the draft, but there's still lots of good players there. They just they're not a common household name for us quite yet, as like an Adams is.
And although it's not necessarily Aaron Rodgers' job to make these other names superstars, he does have that uncanny ability. So I'm not exactly worried. I was at first when I saw Kummerow, because I love Kummerow. I just think he's a great character to have on the team. And then when Devin Funchess opted out, and then you add in Darius Shepard, I'm like, that's 3 wide receivers. Who else? And then when I started seeing the list, I'm like, oh, well, we do still have a pretty good collection. And I believe we even brought in 1 or 2 wide receivers to try out today. Not sure what's going to happen with that. Not big names like Odell Beckham Jr., or anything like that.
But, some of these players gotta start somewhere. Just because we don't recognize their names, Rodgers will make it happen. that's the positivity. Your positivity is rubbing off on me, man. Rodgers will make it happen.
That's a good sign, Scott. Yeah, plus, don't forget, we do have a few great tight ends, and at least one of our running backs, Aaron Jones, has good hands. So, there's lots of people that he could throw the ball to. I think it's going to be okay. And I found this interesting. I saw this tidbit online as well this afternoon that after a waiver period of about 24 hours or so, the Packers will start signing players to their 16-man practice squad on Sunday. So hopefully several of the players that were cut today could end up on the practice squad and, barring injuries to the other starters, maybe they'll get pulled back up.
Plus, you're also forgetting that we started to build a pretty decent running team last year. So it's not like we're relying totally on the pass game like we have, in the past decade.
20 years at least, I think.
Yeah. So we could really come out strong with that running game too. So, we're just so accustomed to being nothing but a passing team because we've been under Rodgers and Favre for so long. But, there's a whole other side of football that is kind of the core of football that we're barely looking at, and I think it's worth noting.
Yeah, and it might be time for all of us to realize that there could be a big shift and that the Packers will be more of a running team, or at least have more of a 50-50 balance or something. And, if we can do both well, I'm thinking unstoppable.
I'd be okay with the switch, honestly. As much fun as it's been to watch Favre and Rodgers do their magic over the last 15, 20 years, it would be kind of exciting to see us have a running game, like just a solid top tier running game. Be excited about that. I don't remember being that excited about that since I was a kid.
It could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Teams now get to carry 16 people on the practice squad, which is 6 more than in previous seasons. That's, close to double, if you do the math.
Right.
School teacher stuff and all that good stuff. So 6 of those 16 slots can be used on players at any experience level, and teams can protect up to 4 practice squad players per week who cannot be signed by another team. That gives me hope that maybe we have not seen the last of Jake Kumerow in the green and gold.
Possibly. I think that's a good bet. And remember, this is football, man. This is not baseball. This is a contact sport. We have to kind of be ready for things to happen, kind of like they did with the Cardinals. I mean, these kind of things can happen. You're going to have players that are going to be not only in close proximity of one another, but touching one another. It's tackle football. So be ready, man. Stuff like that can happen.
All right. Point taken. Let's check in and see what came in on the listener voicemail at 9203-PACK Go.
Go, Pack, go! Go, Pack, go! Hey, guys, Andre in LA. Saw your post on Instagram, so I'm calling about next Sunday's Viking games and what things I'm looking forward to for the season. Well, they're the Vikings. We usually whoop up on them and the Bears, so I'm not too worried about that game. I'm very interested in seeing, since there was no preseason, what we look like to start the season, especially from the wide receiver position, Hillard, and I think MVS. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so just stick with the initials. I'm also interested in seeing what we do out of the tight end position, because the teams the last 2 years with a really big, fast, strong tight end that can block, run, pass have been really the teams to beat. And the teams that have a really good defense are whatever teams can at least somewhat try to, cover that position. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we do with that. I'm honestly just really looking forward to football. Whoever starts the season off good obviously has a huge advantage, because the way these games look, every game is precious. And you know what? Even though everything's super weird still, I still want a Super Bowl ring, especially for the Packers, especially for Rodgers. So whatever it takes to get us another Super Bowl ring, I'm really curious about how the death is going to work this season, with everything. So I'm just really looking forward to how this season plays out, especially how we start. I think if we start off 3-1 or 4-0, I didn't really look at the schedule. I know a lot of it's kind of divisional games. But if we start off hot, then it really gives us a great advantage for the season. But then I'm really looking forward to just football this year. So that's all I got to say. I'm Trey in LA. Go, Pack, go! Go, Pack, go! Love you guys. I had my coffee.
You had to get that one more in there. That's awesome. Andre, always great to hear from you. I'm very excited for football. I will say, though, that football season is a tiny bit bittersweet for me. Because as much as I love football, it also means that my summer vacation is over. So it's kind of a little bit of push and pull. But yeah, I'm going back to work next week. So these 8-hour work days are becoming a pain in the butt for me. But I'm with you about not seeing preseason football, not really knowing what to expect. I'm in the same position. I barely watch the preseason games myself anyway, just because it's hard to get excited about it when it doesn't matter in terms of standings and whatnot. But at least I could go back and watch the highlights and try to get a feel for what they look like. This year, I got nothing. I haven't seen any practice squad footage or anything. So me trying to put together some keys to the victory this week is going to be a little interesting, needless to say. Yeah.
Yeah, always good to hear from you, Andre. I'm glad you were able to get your coffee first, because I know you mentioned on Instagram that you have a Go Pack Go to live up to. No pressure, but we appreciate it, and you do such great work. And you brought up something that really made me think, Andre, about how every game is precious and we need to start strong, not only because we want that Packers Super Bowl ring to happen, no matter what needs to happen, but say, for example, we don't start strong. Heaven forbid. And the season gets cut short halfway in the middle, and they say whoever's in the top winning percentages, you move on to these modified playoffs, and the rest of you, SOL. I would hate to have that happen. So I think it's more important than ever for us to start strong this year, just in case.
Yeah, we could be looking at a shortened season, so that each instead of 16 or 1 out of 16, whatever that percentage breaks down to, each game is worth potentially 10% of the season. If something were to happen, so it's going to be a crazy year, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. But I'm also really nervous, genuinely really nervous that things are just going to stop or something.
Well, we do have to be nervous because of how crazy everything has been. Ever since late February, early mid-March or whatever. But, maybe the NFL and the players have learned from just watching the other teams, other sports that have already been playing. And hopefully, if any league can do this and succeed at it, I believe it is the NFL, even though basketball did take it to the extreme and having the bubble. I mean, would be almost impossible to do in the NFL, to do the bubble. But,
right, but basketball also far less of a contact sport than football is.
I don't know. Yeah, sometimes.
I mean, sure, they get a little scrappy out there, man, but come on.
Oh, okay.
Every play.
I see your point. But Andre, always good to hear from you. Can't wait to hear from you, hopefully after the Packers beat the Vikings. And yeah, let's start strong. We got to start out like 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, something like that, just in case. And then, if we do get to play the entire season, which I think we will, then, we'll be able to clinch the division and the playoffs, by Thanksgiving, which will be another holiday that'll be really weird this year. But
yeah, no kidding. Everything's going to be really weird this year.
Now, I did ask a poll to kind of help grease the wheels to get the season underway on Twitter at Packers Fan Pod, as well as in our Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community group at packerscommunity.com. What facet of the Packers team will contribute most to a victory over the Vikings on Sunday? Scott, before we read the results from the listeners, what do you think?
I think it's, I don't want to give too much away about my keys to victory, but I think it's going to be offense. We need to get things going out the gate right away. I know that last year our defense was the most important factor, but I think we've got to turn the other side of the ball around, and that's going to be a huge contribution to this game.
Okay, fair enough. And the options were, I forgot to give them off, I'm sorry, special teams, Mason Crosby, offense, and defense. So you're going with offense. I am just totally lost. I think if the season starts out like last year's, which, even included preseason, I think it could come down to Mason Crosby if I had to pick one myself. Mm-hmm. But the results for the voters, only 2% voted saying special teams will be the biggest factor in us beating the Vikes. 7% said Mason Crosby. and only 26% said offense, like you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves 65%. 65% of the voters said defense is going to win this one for us.
Well, Doric, Doric Packers fan, is his name Doric?
Or is his
Twitter
screen name Doric Packers fan?
Doric Packers fan. All right. He says, well, when you win 45-0, I think it's fair to say all of the above. And I would love to see 45-0, man. That would be really great.
Doric, that's what I'm talking about. That would be fantastic. And Lofia says the Packers offense will do better. And I believe I saw somewhere online that you may be having a birthday this week, Lofia. So if so, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And if not so, hang on to that for when it is so. Something else I finally was able to get done since the last episode was a kind of new design for the Packers Fan Podcast T-shirts, as well as like a coffee mug or like a refrigerator magnet type of thing. Check those out. We'll have them linked in the show notes at PackersFanPodcast.com.
And I'll have masks available in the near future too, as well. I learned a new hobby over the summer, man, and I have been sewing and pressing with vinyl cloth masks to sell on my website, and I've already made a couple prototypes of a Packers Fan Podcast one, so stay tuned for more details on that.
Yes, absolutely. Things are happening. If you want to help us out while representing the show at the same time, we thank you in advance, and go Pack, go.
Let's move on to some emails. Our first one comes from Caleb. He says, hey, Wayne and Scott, this is Caleb, Kathy, and Roy Fisher from Littletown, USA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It'll be strange not hearing the Go Pack Go in the stadium. We'll have to chant really loud at home so it can be heard. But we are finally ready to see football once again. Can't wait to see how Aaron Rodgers will do this season. We believe that we will win against the Purple People in Minnesota. Go Pack Go, bleed green and gold till dead and cold. Caleb, Kathy, and Roy Fisher. Thanks so much, guys. Always a pleasure to hear from you.
Yes, thank you so much for that email. And I think we will still hear Go Pack Go from the stadium, even though it'll be on tape.
Oh, yeah, it'll be recorded, but it's got to be there.
But at the same time, we should still chant it very loudly from home, because that will help.
Mm-hmm.
Also got an email from Steven checking in from Palos Park, Illinois, home of the rival Chicago Bears, who, well, you know. And now that we are in a new season, that means Wayne and Scott will have to come up with a new bet for this season. I think it is best they put their heads together, decide on what that's going to be. Just an idea. Albanese Candy is open over the border in Indiana for your candy shopping needs. You can also list their factory store or outlets to get your candy shopping spree going on. And if you're in a hurry, they do have curbside pickup available at both locations. I am craving some
hurry.
desserts.
I love how he says if you're in a hurry, but I have to drive to Indiana to get there.
Hey, I think Steven has probably been in a hurry before for his Albanese Candy. I'm pretty sure. Curbside pickup, I like that. Could be that it would be a good bet for Wayne and Scott. Whoever loses, they will have to buy the winner some candy from Albanese Candy. We will have details on that a little bit later in this episode, so stay tuned, Stephen. Yeah, this was interesting. Stephen brought up that for the first time since the 2017 season, you know, back when fans go to the stadium and everybody's close together and tailgating, the Packers are going to open up the season against a team not named the Bears.
It seems like we always start.
Goodness. Sick of the Bears. Sick of the Vikings, too, but let's get this victory out of the way. I imagine that listeners to the Packers Fan Podcast will be ready for Andre from LA's awesome and loud Go Pack Goes in his voicemails. And as you heard earlier in this episode, Scott, they are awesome, they are loud, they are proud. Stephen continues, since the Bears will also be playing at the same time week one, the game will not be seen in the Chicago area unless the Bears game is over first and Fox goes to the Packers game for bonus coverage. Or I might like to add, if the Bears are losing like 45-0, you know, and they say, let's go to a more competitive game. Now, question for you, Scott, from Steven. Do you already have your game plan for watching the Packers at Vikings game?
I genuinely don't, man. I don't know what to do because here's the situation. Like he mentioned, when the Bears and Packers play together, even if I pay for the Hulu sports package or whatever, it's still only the local channels.
Lame.
So they're going to play the Bears game over the Packers game. So normally, in a normal non-COVID world, we just go to the bar and watch the game there. I don't know how comfortable I feel doing that right now.
Yeah.
And I started looking into ways that I can watch the game online, and Direct Ticket has their NFL ticket, but that only plays the out-of-network games. So you can't watch the local network games, which means I'd also have to have a local channel to watch the games. So it would cost me over $125 a month to watch the Packers games this year. And I'm not real keen on doing that idea, but I got to figure something out. So stay tuned next week to find out exactly how I'm going to watch the game, but I'll figure something out.
And there used to be a fourth option, which is no good right now, which is buy a ticket to the game and drive to Minnesota.
Yeah, that actually would have been a good plan, but season opener, even if we were in a regular world right now, those tickets would be pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Also interesting is the fact that at least as of today, I checked my television listings here in Southern California. It is airing here. Packers
Wow.
at Vikings, because obviously I can't go to a sports bar for breakfast right now, so
I'm going to have to just fly over and watch the game with you then, apparently.
that's the new fourth option. Just
Yeah.
put on your mask, get on an airplane, stay away from people. Steven's email continues with, whether the Packers are rusty or not week 1, will the Packers radio team of Wayne Larrivee and Larry McCarron be rusty, since they also have had no preseason games to call on WTMJ?
Nah, they'll be fine. They're professionals.
Yeah, I think they'll be more ready than most of the players, but we'll have to wait and
Yeah,
see.
probably.
Listeners want to know, is Wayne still sticking to his story that we don't know really if he's going to pick the Packers to go 16-0 this season?
Of course he is. You know he's going to go 16-0.
I think Steven's referencing on a previous episode, I said, it's such a strange year. I don't know if I can really say that we're going to win every game.
That's going to be your reason why you're wrong this year. You're going to blame COVID for that too?
Why not? No. Seriously, taking a look at the schedule, I don't see any reason why we could not win all of these games.
You're saying you're looking at the schedule and saying, I don't see any reason that we can't win all these games. So what team could be on there that would make you go, yeah, we might lose a game or two this season?
Well, if the Packers didn't learn from their last 2 or 3 trips to California, get here a little bit earlier, stay well, stay focused, and be ready. We certainly don't want a repeat of the last 2 games against the Niners to happen again, not to mention the game before that against the Rams in L.A. and the game against the Chargers in L.A. Yeah, so hopefully we have learned and we will get here earlier. Now, of course, the NFC Championship games, some of the players, including Mason Crosby, were recovering from the flu, yada, yada, yada. They're all professionals. We should have still won that game. But, we'll get there when that game is happening. But going to wrap up Steven's email saying, right now it is really hard to know what to expect this week, but I'm going to predict the Packers will win by 7 points, since I'm sure that both teams will be rusty. I'm going to check out for now Steven, who also may be having a birthday this week. And if that's true, and I didn't just make it up, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man. Well, let's go ahead and move on, Wayne. It is time to decide our 2020 season wager o' fun, as you've lovingly put it here in the format. So first thing we got to do is just figure out what the terms are. And what I mean by is, how are we going to determine a winner and loser each week? I kind of like the format we did last year, where if I pick a winner and you pick the loser, then I get a point and vice versa. But if we both pick the winner, we both pick the loser, then we just do a subtraction of how many points away we are. Or do you want to do like you add the points? We come up with a line number where you add the points together and then you say over or under this. I don't know. What do you want to do?
I think at that point you might be getting into some hardcore math here, like algebra. So,
okay.
Now, last year, I really did like how the wagers went last year. I did. And
I liked it too.
I've been spending a lot of time thinking about trying to find a different idea, but nothing really struck me as much as what we did last year. So as far as what the contest is, I think we should do the same.
I agree.
Now, of course, I'm going to say that because I am the reigning champion who came from behind to demolish Scott last year. So obviously I'm going to agree to that. Now, what about the prize?
How do you feel about the Albanese candy thing? Are you do you like candy?
Well, I love candy, mostly chocolate, though. If something's chocolate, like Whoppers, Junior Mints, just regular chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate.
Yeah, I like fruit flavored candy, so we'd definitely be different there. We can't do Culver's again. I mean, we can't even. We still haven't settled that bet. I feel like it needs to be
Thanks
something
to COVID.
where, right? I feel like it needs to be something where we don't necessarily have to, make this happen in person. It's got to be something. I don't want to say embarrassing. I don't want to do the thing like, oh, we're going to make you wear a Bears jersey or something.
Ain't gonna happen.
Because I know you wouldn't come through with it if you lost it. But,
Nope, I would not.
I don't know. I'd like have to sing a song.
Oh boy,
like some kind of loser song that the listeners write. Like they write lyrics to, like a parody lyrics to a song, and the loser has to sing it on the last episode of the season or something like that.
Now that could be very interesting. Even though I did like the sound of, if you're in a hurry for candy, you can get curbside pickup at Albanese. But
we could do both.
No, that's a long drive for me. Indiana, that's a long drive. I kind of like that idea. Listeners, you have our number. It's 920-3PACK-GO. Go straight to voicemail. If inspiration strikes you at 2 a.m, you can always give us a call at 920-3PACK-GO. Or
maybe somebody needs to start a thread on our Facebook page and just start pitching ideas back and forth of songs that they could parody. And then the loser has to sing that. I think that's a fun idea.
Okay, let's go with that. Now, of course, nothing political. And it has to be in good jest,
Oh yeah. It's got to just make it funny. I mean, it could even be just a Go Pack Go type song, just like taking a regular song and making the lyrics something goofy, and but it's got to be embarrassing.
Okay,
I like it.
All right. This year I'm going to start off in the lead, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, cool. We also have some great discussions. You mentioned our Facebook community group at packerscommunity.com. Conversations are going on right now over there. In fact, it's never too early to start making your plans for this year's Super Bowl parties. I had to share a 3D pic of a mock-up of an excellent idea, and I don't know if you already saw it, the tortilla mask.
You really have to see it to understand exactly what Wayne's talking about. When we say tortilla mask, we're not talking about a cloth mask with printing over the front of it that looks like a tortilla. No. This is an actual mask made out of tortilla bread, stuffed with whatever, and it just looks ridiculous. It looks hilarious to me.
You can be covered and socially distanced and still be just, without even using your hands, eating your tacos, whatever you want. It's a beautiful thing, so I encourage you to check that out.
It's a little crazy. Also, Dictus from the Netherlands, I believe he's from the Netherlands, posted a brilliant photo from a recent visit to Germany with a caption of, quote, "While on holiday in Frankfurt, Germany, yes, we did go in for beers and lunch," unquote. And you need to see the picture. He basically modifies the signage outside the pub so it says "Go Meet Packers," "Go Meet Packers," because it was a meat packing company, and he just put "Go" in front of it, so it says "Go Meet Packers." Well done, Dictus. Loved it.
And it's international, and it's beautiful, and it involves beer. So win, win, win. Rick in Wisconsin says, any of my fellow podcast fans playing fantasy football? I hope to organize a league this season. NFL's Official is the one I've been using for years, but I have tried ESPN and Yahoo leagues before as well. So check out that league. I'm not sure draft day is happening for some players already, but wanted to throw that out there because good luck, Rick. I can't do fantasy football because I can't pick anybody except for Packers players, and then I lose.
Yeah, I'm in a league with my brother. We've been in the same league for over 10 years now, and we have not drafted yet. So we're running short on time, and my brother really wanted to get together and do the draft in person, and I wasn't too keen on the idea, and we're still on the fence as to what's going to happen. But since we're running out of time and school starting, more than likely, I'm going to have my picks auto-drafted for me. And just go with it and try to have fun with it.
Ride that to victory.
That'd be great.
It would be, and I can sense it happening.
Yeah.
Listener Miguel from the Opposites Attract podcast shared a photo just yesterday from his apparent vacation in Mexico. It's a festive photo of him at a storefront showing off a Packers serape.
That's awesome.
It was authentic and beautiful. So thanks for sharing that, Miguel. Go, Pack, go.
You'll also see some amazing shots of 3 Packers legends from the recent induction of Brett Favre and Jordy Nelson into the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame. Although there wasn't an in-person audience this year, it was emceed by the great Donald Driver. Pretty cool there. And if you'd like to join the community and all these great conversations, you can do so at packerscommunity.com. You'll find all the links there and join in the fun.
Absolutely. Now, let's preview Week 1. The 0-0 Green Bay Packers head out on the road to Minnesota to play the 0-0 Vikings Sunday, September 13th at high noon Central. The Packers lead the all-time series, of course, over the Vikings, 62-54, and 3 ties in there. The Vikings were 0-2 against the Packers last season, so we have that. And it's the first game of the season being played in an empty Viking stadium, which does help match the decor of their empty Super Bowl trophy cases.
Oh, man.
I'm just here to state the facts. A knee injury by lineman Billy Turner could keep him out of the Week 1 matchup against the Vikings. That would not be good. So
Nope.
Get well soon, Billy. Mm-hmm. And could we possibly get a memorable finish like we did on Monday night, November 6th, 2000? The Al Michaels, he did what game? Thanks to Brett Favre and Antonio Freeman on the ground in the rain. Can I get a Go Pack Go?
Go Pack Go. Man, you're bringing back some great memories of that one. That's a pull.
That one was just shocking and giddy and unbelievable. And at least as of today, the game will be the official 12 noon Central game airing on Fox here in Southern California. I can't wait because that'd be a great way to start the season at home in the air conditioning. Weather won't be a factor in that glass menagerie aside from the occasional foul winds caused by that ridiculous Vikings horn.
Oh, man, that thing is so annoying. It's almost as bad as those Vuvuzela things at the soccer games. Yeah. It's just annoying.
Between that and the skull nonsense, just stop it.
Yeah. I mean, we got our own, but I feel like ours is more creative, but I'm also biased.
And ours is better.
It is better. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the keys to the Packers winning and starting out 1-0 this weekend. And Wayne, I'm going to kick things off by talking about a television show that I started watching for the first time this past week. It's been out for quite a while, but it finally hit Netflix, and the show is Cobra Kai. And if you remember Karate Kid,
yes,
this show is based off of that. First off, go watch Cobra Kai. It's just so much fun. It's a great homage to the 80s and those characters. But in this series, Johnny Lawrence from the original movie restarts the Cobra Kai karate dojo. And he has emblazoned on the wall my first key to this week's victory, which is strike first, strike hard, no mercy. And this is where my offense, being the key to this week's win, comes into play. Because last year, like I said, we started out the gate strong with our defense doing its job quite well. Now, while we want that to happen this year as well, this is a perfect opportunity to come out swinging fast and hard to put the Vikings to sleep as early as possible. This game needs to not be a close call, and the Pack needs to prove in Week 1 that they are a serious contender for the Lombardi Trophy amidst a pandemic, especially with the potential for a shortened season. So strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Secondly, there's no home field advantage for the Vikings. Yes, we're playing in Minnesota, but there won't be hometown fans cheering for the guys in purple. As much as we'd like to be playing at home this week, it'll be great to get this game off the table for when the Vikings aren't used to playing without their fans, so that if we can win this game, the rematch should be a piece of cake when they're back in Green Bay. Thirdly, the Packers' defense needs to force the pass. The Vikings are a run-first team, and the Packers' defensive line is a great matchup for that. So if we can contain them on the ground, they'll be forced to throw to a wide receiver set that no longer has Stephon Diggs. So we want them throwing the ball as much as possible. Lastly, I will say that we need to not underestimate the Vikings. Sure, We crack jokes about the lack of Super Bowl trophies in Minnesota, but they're actually, believe it or not, slightly favored for this week and are projected to make the playoffs this year. The Packers simply can't let overconfidence play a factor here. Once again, strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
I love it. I love it, Scott. And yeah, we cracked a joke about the Super Bowl trophies not happening in Minnesota just 4 or 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Great keys to victory. Let's have Kirk Cousins throwing the ball often. Let's get 3 interceptions or more. Let's just do that without being overconfident. Can we find that balance of just demolishing them while not being overconfident?
Well, demolish them and then not just get comfortable. Just keep demolishing.
Yeah, because the heart attack pack, that is so 2019.
Right. So 2000. It's so the entire decade of the 2010s. Can we say that?
Okay. Well, this is a whole new thing now, so no more heart attack pack. Scott, with your keys in victory in mind, what do you think the final score is going to be Sunday?
I believe that with this being the first game of the season for the Packers and everything going on, I really believe it's going to be a low-scoring game. I still think the Packers are going to come out on top, but I think there's going to be a lot of caution being thrown around, and that's my prediction. Could be wrong. Hope I'm not, but I'm going to say Packers 17, Vikings 13.
Okay. May not be the most exciting game in the world as far as action, but a victory is a victory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually on a similar plane this week. I'm going to say it's going to be fairly close. Packers 21, Vikings 15.
So 5 field goals, and that's all they're going to do.
There's many ways to get to 15, Scott.
Oh, man. Okay, there are, but 5 field goals is the easiest way to get to 15. Let's just say, if you get a 5 on a Super Bowl square, you're not real excited. That's all I'm saying.
Until a safety happens, and then everybody's like, oh, everything's changed.
Yeah.
Now, since we didn't receive any feedback on the fax machine this week, we did get this on Twitter. AppleMac19 says, I'm guessing we'll be a bit rusty for this first game due to no real physical training, but then so will the Vikes. So I want to see QB1 getting into sync with the wide receivers, the tight ends, and the running backs ASAP, throwing on time and with pace. The defense needs to restrict the running game, get at least 2 interceptions, and predicts Packers 27, Vikings 24. Now, that's even closer, but more high scoring.
That'd be a more exciting game for sure. Also on Instagram, Carlos, it looks like is this his prediction? Packers 25, Vikings 17 with the line at 3.5 in favor of the Vikings. And he's predicting if it's a split, he's picking the under on the total 46 points there. And he also says, go Pack, go.
Well done. And this just in the other day from Captain Obvious, Cam Newton officially was named the starting quarterback of the Patriots.
Yeah.
As if all that talk
there?
about, it's an open competition. There's no guarantees. We're just bringing him in. And I'm like, come on. You don't bring in Cam Newton and make him the third string quarterback.
Well, did you see that the Bears have chosen Trubisky to be their starting quarterback over Foles?
That's not going to last long. I'm sorry, Mitch Trubisky. That's not going to last long. Which one has the Super Bowl ring?
That's all I'm saying. Also, Adrian Peterson has been let go by yes, I'm saying this correctly, the Washington football team.
Now, are you surprised?
Not surprised. There's so much drama behind him. I wonder how much of it has to do with his age and how much of it has to do with the drama. I don't know, honestly. But would you? Is he a free agent at this point?
I believe so. I haven't heard of him getting signed. He's bound to end up somewhere for at least one more year. Not the Green Bay Packers. We have 3 solid running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, watch, he'll just go to the Patriots or the Buccaneers, and they're just going to try to hobble to something together.
Could you imagine if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers became the new Patriots, and we're just like, I'm so tired of the Bucs winning every week. Can we just get something else? That would be a bizarro world. It would be the year to make that happen, 2020, for sure.
No, hopefully it will become the beginning of everybody saying, can we not have the Packers win everything all the time?
Yeah.
Whereas us Packers fans would be quite happy with that.
Yeah. I like it. So where are the standings at, Wayne?
Believe it or not, there's a 4-way tie in the NFC
Whoa.
North for first place. Though the Packers are currently on top at 0-0. The Vikings are 0-0.
The Packers are on top.
Are we not the reigning champs?
That's fair.
That's fair. And the Bears are 0-0. And last place, the Lions at 0-0.
I'm surprised you put the Lions under the Bears. I figured you just like automatically put the Bears at the end, but so be it. Hey, we're all undefeated. That's all I'm saying. Well, moving on. If you love to play video games as much as I do, please be sure to check out my other podcast, The Gaming Outsider, which can be heard at the same places you listen to this one. This week, we're discussing video game apparel. While I love to don my Packers jersey and Packers t-shirts to support my favorite team, I also have quite a collection of video game themed shirts, jackets, socks, etc. And we're sharing why gamers love to do that, as well as what we're sporting when we can. Our website, if you'd like to follow my written reviews as well, is thegamingoutsider.com. And you can also purchase homemade masks from me that are video game themed, as well as a couple Packer themed ones in there as well. thegamingoutsider.com/the Go Shop.
And when you say handmade, they're handmade by you.
By me, yes. Me and my sewing machine and my heat press and my Cricut printer. I got a whole little command center down there, man. I've been making them like crazy.
Not to mention your new 3D printer that you've been using for other things as well.
Yes. Well, the 3D printer is not owned by me, but between my two guys on my team, we have 4 of them between us. And we've been printing miniatures. And I started playing D&D last week. I don't know if I told you about that.
Nope.
That is I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Involved. And you're a busy man.
I am very busy.
Now, normally I do have another podcast in addition to the Packers Fan Podcast going on, but since I don't have any of my TV fan podcasts in production at this time, how would you like to buy me a coffee to help keep me amped up on the non-football and non-Packers Fan Podcast days? You can buy me a coffee, a one-time virtual, say a peppermint frappuccino or a cafe latte, extra hot, no foam. You can pick that or any coffee of your choice, basically. You can buy me a coffee in your imagination with real money at buymeacoffee.com/WayneVO. We'll just link to it at PackersFanPodcast.com and in the show notes in your podcast player.
Bryant, you are a Packers Fan Podcast MVP, definitely inspired by Packers legend number 24 himself, Willie Wood. Your $24 Willie Wood monthly pledge level on Patreon helps keep the stadium lights on here at Packers Fan Podcast HQ, otherwise known as hosting and podcasting costs. Thank you, and go Pack Go. And how about those Texas-only Green Bay Packers fanatics? Their Facebook group rocks. Thank you so very much for your monthly AR12 $12 support level, helping us to take the show to the next level. Go Pack Go.
Also, thank you so much at the $4 a month Brett Favre-inspired monthly Patreon support, Jeff Summerfield and Lawrence Harvey, and the Curly Lambeau $1 a month podcast support. Thank you so much, Remy Lavictoire, Hank Davis from the TPE network of podcasts, who is very excited that The Mandalorian returns October 30th, and his Mandalorian podcast will return as well.
Yes.
At the $1 a month level, thank you, Matt Haig and Joe Christensen. You guys all rock. And you too can financially support the podcast at a level to match your budget and get cool Packers Fan Podcast logo merchandise. The details at patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast. Thank you, and go Pack Go!
We are the unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, not yet affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers, but it could be. And if anybody out there would like to contact us, our email is media@PackersFanPodcast.com.
And as we get closer to game day, be sure to follow us on Twitter at PackersFanPod. Follow Scott at GoCastScott. Follow me at Wayne Henderson. And please tell a couple of your friends, no matter where they are in this big, beautiful world, to give a listen to your Packers Fan Podcast.
Get your feedback right after the Packers beat the Vikings so you can be a part of next week's show. Call us at area code 920-3PACK-GO. Or you can also go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback for other options. Thanks again for joining us on the Packers Fan Podcast.
Now, Scott, did you say 920-3PACK-GO?
920-3PACK-GO.
Okay, I was just making sure it was loud and clear that it was 920-3PACK-GO.
I did say 920-3PACK-GO.
Well done, and thank you. Be sure to subscribe in your podcast player of choice so you don't miss an episode. And now, to get us all ready for opening day, let's head out to our at-home tailgate parties with the help from the Texas-only Green Bay Packers fanatics.
This is Dawn down here in Texas, a.k.a. Granny Cheese.
Hi, I'm James.
Hi, I'm Kim.
Hi, I'm Melissa.
Hi, I'm Susan.
Hi, I'm Carrie.
Hi, I'm Lisa Montgomery, and we want to say,
Go Pack, go!